What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today, ZBCN. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? It's the 5th of June today, Thursday. 21 hours, 23 minutes left in the day, sitting here at 0048, down 6.4% already on the day. That eats up yesterday's growth of about 6.9%, basically whole. We had a little bit of a move up yesterday, and that wasn't in my expectation, but at the same time, you know, looking at where we are now, this is the first 4-hour candle of the day here. Yesterday's video was right here on the same candle. We're basically at the same price. We had this rejection. It looked to me like we were rejecting here off the prior areas of support, so we we're going to go down, and it looked like we were rejecting off the 40 on the RSI. So I thought we would see an immediate move down. However, we actually moved up. Had a bullish engulfing candle, moved up a little bit higher, still found resistance at this area of support, and found resistance right there at the 50 on the RSI, making a nice kind of set of lower highs here. I do believe we're setting up for our final move down. Maybe it's our final move or one of final moves. I don't know, but I do believe this downtrend here in the 4-hour RSI is not going to sustain for too much longer. This could be the leg where you find maturity. Maybe you move up and you find one more leg here. The downtrend is completely mature. At that point, what just happened there? And at that point, you would be looking to break out, yeah. So maybe not today, the 5th, maybe not tomorrow, the 6th, but like the 7th, the 8th, maybe Sunday or maybe Monday next week, we'd be looking to break out of this. And that kind of makes sense to me. It's very possible that you go lower still, even if you do break out of this, right? If you do break out of this downtrend here, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're moving higher. It just means that you're getting near the end of your trend probably. Or you're experiencing the worst part. You kind of do have this head and shoulders look right here. It kind of is like a head and shoulders. I want to see, let's look at Bybit with more volume there. I mean, the volume profile is perfect for it, actually. Let's look at this on something else too. Maybe not just the perps, but what, KuCoin? KuCoin or MEXC? We could use both. Less perfect here, still good. I would say it's less perfect on KuCoin. MEXC. Better. HTX. Oh, no, HTX. What about HTX? Bybit is the one that might matter the most. The volume profile isn't perfect on every exchange, so I'm not sure if this head and shoulders pattern will work out perfectly. But it does look like a head and shoulders, does it not? Can you see the left shoulder, right? Here's the left shoulder right here, right? Here's the head. Here's the right shoulder, or at least what's the beginning of the formation of it. Maybe you move sideways, man. Maybe you move down and then you move back up. Maybe you're range bound for the next couple of days. And that's what you complete your RSI with, right? Maybe you're range bound and then you kind of do this. You're range bound for the next couple of days. You break out to the upside or whatever, and you find resistance again, and then inevitably you start another downtrend of the RSI and break out of this head and shoulders pattern to the downside. I don't know. That was some artistic work right there for sure. Looking at this here, if you were to consider this a head and shoulders pattern from a high to a low, and I suppose it's a little bit slanted, right? Not really, actually. It's pretty, dude, that's pretty perfect. The low is not there, but it might not be finished yet. So maybe what you do today is you do move lower than this low, and then tomorrow you move up. I don't think that you're going to break out of this range here right now. Like, I do think you'll go below this low, maybe today, if not between today and tomorrow. But I think you'll find support right at this low here. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but that might be a good trade setup. If this is a head and shoulders, the measure move, roughly, would take you down to 002118. Let's see if that makes any sense. 002118. Okay, so first off, we'll put a line right there. Let me put this on a daily time frame so it's a little bit easier to see. Right there, yeah. 3-day time frame here. Okay, so we're going to take a low to high, and we're going to do a high to low fib also. Maybe we'll do the high to low first. High to low. That would take you right to the 100. Okay, so it takes you right back here to this prior resistance. Okay, somewhat significant. Prior resistance right there and prior support right there. Okay, somewhat significant. It could happen. High to low here. Overall, that would be a 70% drop. It's pretty crazy, but that is, if we're being fair, that is on like the upper ends of average whenever we see drops in crypto. Even in bull markets, even when you're moving up, sometimes you get these 70% drops, but it doesn't really go past that. If it goes past that, generally something's wrong. And you only get these kind of dumps with dramatic pumps, and a 10x in a month and a half. I mean, not even a month and a half. That's pretty dramatic. I'm not completely convinced you get down there, right? That's the measure move of this alleged head and shoulders. It doesn't mean you have to get down there. Maybe you break out, but you don't get quite that low. Measure moves are not requirements. You don't have to get there, but let's keep in mind that is right there where our prior high is. Okay, now let's take this low to high and just see what that is relative to. Low to high here. Right at the 0.5, a lot of cryptos have been finding support at the 0.5. A lot have. I would just think, relative to this fib, I think you'd be more likely to find support at the 382. Just because it's such a strong run. Typically with strong runs, you look to find support at the 382, right? Not the 0.5. But 382, 0.5, whatever. These targets are definitely lower than what we've generally considered for this thing, right? I've considered that 0034 was going to be where we find support, and it's very possible that it is. That's based off the notion that from a high here to a low there, and let me delete this other fib. Let me get rid of this one. Hold on, let me see. Come on now, get rid of that one. Going from this zone, the 1886200, down to the 1414 right here where that line is, that actually makes a whole lot of sense. But in comparison to that measure move, I don't know. Time will tell. Something between 0034 and maybe at the lowest 00215. But I doubt you get that low. My expectation really would be that you hold that 0029 to 0034 area. You're at 0048 now. With the way that we have this story painted, the picture that I'm drawing so far here, is that if this is a head and shoulders pattern, we have the right shoulder to form, okay? I don't know how long it's going to be. Is this the left shoulder? Is it just this part? Is this part included in it? I don't know. Typically with head and shoulders patterns, you look for symmetry, right? You don't get a left shoulder that's this big, a head, and then a right shoulder that's this big, right? That's not typically what happens. So oftentimes the right shoulder is smaller than the left shoulder. If it's bigger, it's barely bigger, but they oftentimes do have some symmetry. So I would expect here then, if this is a head and shoulders pattern, that right now we move down, we complete the pattern itself, which would be to find support at the neckline, right? We've already found resistance at the top of the shoulder line there, right? Here's your head, whatever. You kind of got your shoulders shrugged. And then we'll consolidate, and then on the next attempt, so after we find support to show and validate that this is a head and shoulders pattern, we'll consolidate, and after that next attempt, we'll probably break down. Overall, we have a bubble about this size. It kind of makes sense, right? They're pretty symmetrical. In this picture that I'm painting, is it going to be accurate? Is it not? I will admit that only on the Bybit one does the volume make sense, and I will also admit that the head it's kind of oddly shaped. It is kind of oddly shaped, but it's somewhat perfect. Everything else about it is pretty perfect, and you can have odd shapes. A little bit wider, and I might be thrown off by it, but the shoulders I think are wide enough to do that. If this is a head and shoulders pattern, then likely you would find support just below this low. Very tradable moment. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if I was trading ZBCN, I'd have a buy order set up just below this low, and then I'd have a sell order probably set up back at like this area where we found resistance here before in that left shoulder right here as well. I don't think that we're going to return all the way back to the top of it, but that's a quick little move. What would that promote here? Let's just see. Right, let's imagine that the price does go all the way down here, but we're not going to buy there because maybe you buy the absolute low, maybe you don't. Maybe you put $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 down there, but you get $5 filled. You know what I mean? Like it's even if you do get hit, even if you are the low, there's no guarantee your whole position gets filled. So let's say you were a savvy trader and you put a buy order just below that low, something above these lows though, so something like right here, whatever, just quick off the top of your head. And then you put a sell order, maybe not at this high for the same reasons you would have put it at the exact low, but just a little bit lower. I mean, that's 20% profit. You literally, you buy down there and it all sounds like it would work out. Maybe it does, but if this happens in the way that I think it will, you got a 20% opportunity probably happening between now and the end of today and then going into tomorrow, I would expect. I mean, this might all happen within the next 48 hours. I don't know. I'm just saying. Just thinking out loud. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. That's just my thoughts. Ultimately, though, if you wait for 0034, or lower, I think that will come. I do believe that you'll see those prices. But I got nothing else to say, guys. I'm very bullish on ZBCN, right? I think that it's going to go higher. I definitely do. I believe this thing will be worth billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars by the end of the cycle. Just bearish right now. Rightfully so. Good job. You did a 10x. Take a break. Go to sleep. Wake up after you're rested. Do another one. You know what I mean? Like this thing, it's definitely going to do well over the coming weeks, over the coming months. So maybe not over the coming weeks. Maybe this week and next week it chills. But then the following week, maybe we get some life. But until then, little consolidation never killed you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.